Hello, everyone. This is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen.
Okay, we're downloading A-Game's formula.
3, 2, 1.
Hey there, Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I am, of course, your host, the Crimson Cure, and as usual, we're just going to jump right into the topic. And as you can see, are we still out of order? This article's been up for a little while, and I decided I might as well go ahead and just discuss it really briefly. I am going to share my screen just so we can read through the article real quick, and then we talk about it. Okay, so this is an Essence article. It says Iyanla Vanzant says Black women are still out of order. In a 2013 interview with Madame Noir, Iyanla Vanzant said in no uncertain terms, Black women were out of order. 8 years later, the spiritual teacher whose own series, Iyanla Fix My Life, is coming to an end this spring, feels just as strongly about that statement as she did then. We're still out of order, Vanzant tells Essence when asked about that viral moment. I think because we get paid to be out of order now. Because of some of the images that we allow to be portrayed of us, some of the ways that we behave and treat each other publicly, she explains of her stance. Acknowledging that we've made a lot of progress, the TV host adds, I think on a personal level, down on the ground, we still need to do some work. And I don't blame us. I just say that the way that we've been conditioned and programmed and educated doesn't afford us the ability to really tap into and live fully who we are. Then we engage in bad behavior. On Saturday, Vanzant opens her final season in conversation with Lisa Ray. While the actress previously appeared on the show to heal her relationships with her mother and her daughter, this time around she's focusing on herself, something the life coach would argue all women need to do. This is hard. It's hard because I love us, and so I want to fully step into my role as an elder and be able to say things you might not like, but you will at least respect. Vanzant goes on. The way we are moving in the world, it's time for us to close our legs, close your legs and open your heart. Let's get clear before we make the same mistakes over and over and over. Speaking specifically about romantic relationships, she adds, the men are trying to get themselves together, but we are so far ahead of them and we don't really occupy that space. And so we keep getting in these transient relationships, bringing children in when we're unprepared, they're unprepared. The number of children in foster care, the number of children in difficult situations. I know what it's like to start out thinking everything's going to go well. Then a year, 2 years in, you're like, what happened? So we've got to be a little more prepared on the front end so we don't have so much difficulty on the back end. I say that because I love us and I love children and I just want us to do better. Okay, so let's talk about this article. I'm going to stop sharing because she hit on a couple of things she hit on a couple of things that I want to hit on. And one of the most important things I think she hit on was the bioculturon. When she says, I don't blame us just the way that we've been conditioned and programmed, that's biology, and educated, that's actually part of that social programming. That's where you get programmed. Okay. I spoke more in depth about bioculturon in a video that I did breaking down the Black Manosphere, which you can see right here. And I talked about the biology being the way that you think. That's the actual programming. And then the culture, which is not only the music, the movies, the television, but also the law, and then the environment. Once biology and culture are altered, then the environment actually follows in order to support the continuation of the new biology and the new culture. And the only way to change them is to change all three at one time. So she's actually talking about that without using that terminology. I don't know if she's even aware of the concepts, but at the same time, she's still talking about the programming, the education. And I did say that we learn feminism, even though she didn't use that word either, but we know that's what she's talking about, the way we've been conditioned, the way who has been conditioned, women. And what's the conditioning and the programming? Feminism. So she doesn't say that. She doesn't say those words. But we know that that's what it is. Okay? And it doesn't afford us the ability to really tap into and live fully who we are. What doesn't afford us? The programming. Because why? The value system is wrong. She said, and then we engage in bad behavior because your value system is wrong, right? If anyone watched the newer episode with Lisa Ray, the one where Lisa Ray's just on her own, and then Iyanla has these steps that she needs to get to the throne, those steps were inclusive of the internal 5 of the 10 life values. Okay. She didn't have that terminology either, but most of that was spiritual work. Most of what she was telling her was spiritual work. She didn't necessarily address health unless we were talking about the emotional health, because Lisa Ray isn't really in touch with her emotions. And I'm not going to spin off. I'm making a point. Then she talked about this with her personal market value, her belonging market value, and her friendship market value, which, if you didn't know, ladies, the valuable woman falls under number 3. That falls under family. So when I talk about the Valuable Woman series, I'm not actually talking about something separate from the 10 life values. It actually coincides because it's underneath family. So Iyanla didn't address her family all the time. She did mention her mom and her daughter, but she really was talking about these things, particularly the first 3, which are the most important, right? She never touched her sexual market value because that's not important. So the 3 things were important that falls under family. So, and the reason why I'm saying that is because when she talks about it doesn't afford us the ability to tap into fully who we are, she's talking about our value system as women. Our value system as women is wrong. And it's wrong because of feminism. Yes, I am putting words in Auntie Iyanla's interview. I'm actually just breaking down the words behind the words because she's tactful enough and she's been in front of the camera long enough to understand the terminology that she should be using to get through to the audience that she's speaking to. And so then the article does go into a little bit with Lisa Ray, because you kind of got to a little bit, because it's an example there. And so what she was saying as she went down into romantic relationships, which I think is important, she said the men are trying to get themselves together. If you don't think Auntie Iyanla knows about the manosphere, you got another thing coming. Most people know, most people that would be considered mainstream actually do know about it. Now, what their opinions are about it is anyone's guess, but more people are familiar with it than you think. And she says, we're so far ahead of them, not in trying to get yourselves together. I've got my own interpretation of that, because Black women are ahead. But you know what? Before I get down into the romantic relationships, I'm going to go backwards a little bit. And I'm going to go back to the part of the statement, the part of the article where she's talking about why women are out of order. She said, you get paid to be out of order. That's TV shows, reality shows. And I'm wagering that's what she's talking about, television, movies, things of that nature. And but I'm going to add the Goldman Sachs. Okay. I'm going to add that type of thing. All of the different sorts of endorsements, Tamika Mallory's Cadillac ad. You get paid to be out of order in many different ways in this society. Black women are getting paid to be out of order. Some of the images that we allow to be portrayed of us. Why is she saying we allow? Because we don't fight against it. That's number one. The viewership doesn't fight against what they're seeing. But also, there are a lot of Black women who are in key positions in a lot of these entertainment fields that run the TV shows. We have a lot of Black women that write the TV shows, that have these portrayals of not only putting Black men in a bad light, but really putting Black women in a bad light, even if they don't perceive it to be a bad light. And then she goes into some of the ways that we behave and treat each other publicly. She's talking about the appearance value. All of this being paid to be out of order, the images that we allow to be portrayed, and the ways that we behave and treat each other publicly. She's talking about the appearance value. Auntie Iyanla is talking about our values as women. And if we remember, our appearance value is part of the internal 5. That's what she's talking about, how we work on us inside. And when we mention Lisa Ray and coming to focus on herself, Iyanla is saying, you know what? Our women need to work on themselves, need to focus on fixing themselves. Okay. Then she says the way we're moving in the world, back to the appearance value, back to the belonging market value. And especially when you talk about people who are popular, people who would be considered celebrities, people who would be considered popular personalities, their belonging value actually is public. They belong to the public. And then what's the public view? That helps determine their belonging market value, right? So what does that say? And she's saying the way we move in the world Time for us to close our legs because we have a bad reputation. We have poor belonging market value as a group of women. Close your legs and open your heart. Stop being masculine and be feminine. Closing your legs. Stop putting more value in your sexual market value. Stop putting more value in your sexual market value, which is very small, more than you're putting in your belonging market value, your personal market value, your friendship market value. That's what she's saying. I'm putting the terminology in that needs to be there. Because running around and being super promiscuous, that's masculine. I told you. The HOE phase is masculine. It is. And open your heart. We live internally as women. We experience the world internally. That's where the strength of our femininity is. It's not in trying to live externally like men do. That is not the strength of our femininity because it crosses over to pseudo masculinity. Okay? And that was actually that was the focal point of a lot of the exercises that she was having Lisa Ray do to try to go internal. She actually said it at the end of the episode. She said, I like that you close your eyes when you talk because then you're trying to have internal rather than external validation. You're trying to go in, which is feminine. Okay? So then I'm going to go ahead and go into what she talked about with the romantic relationships. She said the men are trying to get themselves together. We're far ahead of them, but we don't really occupy that space. We don't occupy the space of actually having our stuff together. So we keep getting in these transient relationships, this hookup culture, thought monkey culture. We keep doing that. We keep bringing children in when we're unprepared, they're unprepared. She's talking about the single mother rate. She's talking about the rate at which we are having children in unstable home environments, family value, and dwelling value. Okay? We're messing up family value. And what did I just say? Family value, this falls underneath it. And women are using their sexual market value wrong by having all of these children out of wedlock, out of stable situations. And then she relates, I know what it's like to start out thinking everything's going to go well. Then a year, 2 years in, you're like, what happened? Okay, so we got to be more prepared on the front end so we don't have difficulty on the back end. So going into it, getting clear, being clear. How do you get clear? As a woman, you get these internal 5 together, because when we look at Lisa Ray as an example, she pretty much has the external 5 decently together. Her internal 5 suffered and her life suffered. Though her educational profession, her leisure, her wealth, and her mobility did not help her to deal with the home environment, her family, her appearance, or her dwelling, because she had not addressed her spiritual. Okay? So hopefully this makes it a little bit clear. Black women are still out of order because we have not decided on a large scale to address ourselves according to a value system that actually works for us. And this is what we're doing on the Crimson Cure channel is to speak to my sisters about our value systems. What do we place value on? What do we place importance on? And how has it served us? How does it serve our children? How does it serve our families? How does it serve our communities? At some point, we're going to have to do this work. We're going to have to do this work and get clear. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want everyone to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not, and also sound off in the comments. Are Black women out of order, in your opinion? I definitely want to hear the ladies, say what they think. It doesn't have to be conforming. I would like to know the honest opinions of the ladies so that we can have this conversation, so that we can further this conversation, because we need to understand what we're up against and how to get over it, how to overcome it. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.